Hey guys, JD here, and today I've got a Garmin gear review for you for the Garmin GPSMAP 66i. Now the 66i is replacing my GPSMAP 64s. Now I want to talk to you about why I decided to drop the money on the 66i when I already had a perfectly functional GPS here. So there are a lot of features that these things do, and I'm not going to talk about every single one. There's just too many things to talk about. But what I really want to focus on is what differentiates the 66i from the 64s. Basically the inReach functionality. And I want to talk about how that's going to change my outdoor trips and how it could change yours as well and what you can use that for. Garmin bought a company called Delorme a few years ago that had been making two-way satellite communicator devices. And Garmin bought them and integrated the inReach service into some of their devices. However, they were still running the Delorme software, so you couldn't use Garmin maps. And I really do like the Garmin maps. I mean, they're incredibly detailed. Truly, some of their maps are just great. And some of the maps you just couldn't get on Delorme devices, like the Boundary Waters maps. Which I use on my canoe trips in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness in northern Minnesota. So I had been waiting for Garmin to come out with a fully integrated inReach device that used their maps with their software on their device, and I finally have it. Now I got this device on sale over Black Friday for $75 off. It's still a $600 device. You know, I paid $525 before tax. So you know, it's still a very expensive device, and the reason I decided to pay that premium is because I want to be able to do longer backcountry trips, possible solo trips. I was going to have to carry two devices with this GPSMAP 64s because I couldn't use the maps on a Delorme inReach. So I would have had to carry an inReach and a GPS, and that was just kind of unacceptable to me. And I didn't really need that the SOS and search and rescue and texting and weather capability at the time, but now that I'm getting more serious about this stuff, I really want a device that does it all in one. So obviously big feature here is the SOS button, and it's protected by a very nice stiff flap. There's a button there, you can probably see it, but that button you have to press and hold that button, and it's also a stiff button. It's not going to accidentally get pressed. And even if this gets pulled open as you're taking it out of a pack or out of your jacket, it's a very stiff flap, and even when it's open, there's no way you're accidentally going to push the button in there, so that's great. Now I wanted to know, as you probably would want to know, what actually happens when you push this button. And I have not pushed it, and I'm not going to push it, but I found a great blog from this guy online. I can't remember his name, but I'm going to link it for you. And he actually has had to use this button on a trip for somebody else, I believe. But he details everything that happens from the moment you press the button to, you know, corresponding with, you know, the SOS responders and coordinating search and rescue attempts, or you know, extraction or whatever that's like. He talks about the whole thing. He also goes into the sort of search and rescue insurance that you can buy when you sign up for this service. Based on the cost of the inReach service, if you actually think you're going to need the SOS functionality, there's like no reason not to buy it. It's not super outrageously expensive, and it'll save you, you know, a $50,000 helicopter bill or something like that. So I'm going to link to his blog post down below in the description. Please check it out. He's got awesome outdoor and hiking information and reports of his hikes and gear reviews and all sorts of great stuff. So please check out his blog. It helped me a lot. I guess one thing I'll show here is the ability to send text messages. Now this is a pretty basic interface on the device itself. And you can set presets of things like end of day, everyone's good. You could set something like there's a problem but it's not critical, or you could set one like big issue, figuring out what to do, or something like that. You can set all these presets online, and then they just get loaded onto your device, and then you can send them at will. Because if you're actually going to type a message, you get to use this keyboard right here. And it's slow going. It's slow, as you might imagine. So what's really cool is that you can use the Garmin Explore app on your phone, and it'll talk to your GPS via Bluetooth, and you can send and receive messages through the phone app. And so you can sort of just, set this aside, leave it in your pack, or just put it next to you as you're looking at messages, you're typing them out, and you can see you can add contacts, and then you just type a message just like you're typing to your friend. So that makes things really, really easy. If you're sending a lot of messages, you're gonna want that, guaranteed. So that's really cool. And then another feature that you can use, and I'll show that now, is weather. So the InReach service comes with weather, and you can get premium and basic forecasts. So this can also be shown on your phone. So this is a basic weather forecast that I pulled at about 1 o'clock today, about an hour ago. Basic forecasts give you 3 days, I believe, of sort of daily summary weather, and then it gives you 24 hours of hourly updates, or like bi-hourly updates every 2 hours. And so you can see here we've got Thursday, that's tomorrow. If we open that up, you can see we have all the hourly forecasts or the bi-hourly forecasts. And then if you want to see something for a given window, like 2 p.m., you can see that there's more details here. And that gives you things like wind direction, wind speed, gust, pressure, precipitation chance, cloud cover, all that good stuff. But it's a little clunky to have to do it. Like, I don't want to have to go into each hour and be like, oh, what's the wind look like for this hour? Because you have, precipitation chance and the, cloud cover and stuff already there. All they had to do was add, just like they did on the phone app, just add like a direction and speed. They probably could have fit it in. I mean, there's enough room in these columns to add that. But that's what's really nice about having the phone app, is you can just use your phone and the information's all there. It's a lot easier to browse through. You can scroll around. So the only issue with the basic forecast is you only get 24 hours of wind information and precipitation chance information and stuff like that. The other option is you get a premium forecast, and premium forecasts are $1 a piece, and you get 3 days worth of hourly updates, and then you get a week overall, but you get 3 days of the hourly. So that's about as far into the future as you can realistically expect to even be accurate, so that's probably fine. But it's going to add up. If you're pulling them every 3 days and you're on a 2 or 3 week trip, you're going to rack up $10 of weather updates. All things considered, you're probably spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a multiple week expedition, so an extra 10 or 20 bucks here or there, probably not going to make a huge difference, but just be aware of that. So for me, the texting, the SOS, and the weather are really the 3 features that I'm going to use the most. And that is why I decided to spend, it's a $600 device. This, I believe, was $300 when it came out. So double the price, but it's not like there's a huge mind-blowing change. You still have the somewhat slow Garmin OS. It can take a while to redraw map tiles, especially at the larger scales, like 8 miles or 12 miles. And I'll just show you here, zooming up. You can probably see it. I can't see it, but you can probably see it. It takes a while to redraw those tiles. And if you want to keep zooming up, and just move up, let it draw. Oh, still hasn't drawn yet. So it takes a little while. It's a bit slow. I'm sure their OS has been optimized for battery life. I hope so, but it feels slow at times. And I just spent basically $600 on this, and it is no faster than this 2-year-old device that has roughly the same battery life and uses the same maps and does everything. So you're really paying for the InReach functionality. That's plain and simple. It's incredibly useful and handy, and you don't have to carry 2 devices. These devices are about an ounce different. This weighs about 0.9 ounces more than this. So, I mean, it's a lot lighter than carrying this plus a whole nother device and having to power that and charge that and whatever. So now I want to talk about one shortcoming, and it could be a problem, and that's really that the GPSMAP 64S has a removable back plate that that allows you to swap out AA's, and their AA batteries are everywhere. You can bring rechargeables, you could use disposables. It's great in an emergency situation. You can always swap out batteries, and even if you get the rechargeable lithium-ion battery pack that you can put in here, you can still take that out and put AA's in if you bring them as a backup. The issue with the 64 or 66i is that it has no removable back. It is purely an integrated battery pack that you charge using this flap here. And that's kind of a problem, one, because I don't know if you can see, but it's micro USB. It's not USB-C. Device comes out in 2019 and it has micro USB. What are you doing, Garmin? Seriously. Everything I've got now is USB-C. My phone, my Pixel 3a is USB-C. My GoPro Hero 6 is USB-C. My Fujifilm X-T3 is USB-C. All these devices that I would bring on an outdoor excursion, they all have one connector. And now I got to bring a separate cable for this. Seriously, Garmin, why? The only other issue then is that you can't swap out the batteries like in an emergency. If you're going and you don't have time to grab a battery pack, or you don't want to have a battery pack in some pocket and plug in your GPS and let it sit there in your pocket with a cable dangling out the back the whole time, that's what you have to do. You can't just quick swap out some batteries and be done with it and then say plug it in when you get to camp. If your battery runs out while you're on the trail, you have to plug it in. That's annoying. Oh, and let's say you lose your cable while you're on the trail. No one's gonna have a micro USB cable hanging around because everyone's using Lightning for Apple devices or USB-C for everything else. So don't lose your micro USB cable while you're out and about, because you're probably not just going to happen upon one, and then your GPS is going to die on you and you're going to have no GPS or satellite communicator. So thanks for that archaic design choice, Garmin. Thank you. Now I want to talk about one more thing, and that is the service plans for InReach, because the $600 for the device does not buy you the actual month-to-month service. You still have to pay for that. There are 3 plans: safety, recreation, and expedition. You can get all 3 plans either month-to-month or on a yearly contract, and the price is lower if you buy a yearly contract, obviously, but the month-to-month is great for people like me who live in states that are essentially in a state of limbo for about 5 months a year. It's currently wintertime, it's January in Minnesota, and I'm not doing any overnight trips where I would need a GPS, basically from the months of November, December to about April or May. So I might do one winter excursion or something like that for an overnight, but it's really not on my list, and it's not worth me paying for a yearly contract. So for me, I'm a month-to-month guy. Now I'm also a safety plan guy because I don't intend to use the number of text messages and the unlimited tracking points and location requests that the next step up, the recreation plan, gives you. So for month-to-month charges, it's $15 for safety, $35 for recreation, and $65 for expedition. And you get all sorts of different stuff, and I'll maybe put a little table up here for you to see what you get with those. I'm not going to speak too much about those, but you'd have to use a decent amount more of text messages and location points to make recreation worth it. And if you think you'll come in even a little bit under that, you'll use, say, 30 text messages instead of 40, and you'll maybe use 25 to 50 location points. It's going to be cheaper for you to use the safety plan and just use things as needed than to bump up to the recreation plan, where you're essentially just prepaying for more text messages, which is pointless because you don't get them at a discount, from what I can tell. Not really, anyway. But one thing is cool, even though I'm a safety plan guy, I can totally see why I would go with the expedition plan on a month-to-month basis if I was just going to use it for 1 month. Say I'm going to go to Alaska on a 3-week fishing and hunting expedition with 3 other friends. It's $65 for 1 month of the expedition plan. You get unlimited text messages, unlimited location pings, unlimited location requests. You know, it's as useful as you can possibly get with the InReach plan. And you split it between 4 people at $65. That's a little over $15 a person. And everyone can text their family and friends the whole time using your phone or using the device. I would use the phone. But you can pre-program everyone's contacts in there, and you can text everyone the whole time and let everyone know how you're doing and all sorts of great stuff at no extra cost. So for $15, if you're going to be gone for 2 or 3 weeks, I mean, heck, even solo, if you're going to be gone for 2 or 3 weeks, an extra $60 is like totally worth it in my mind. So expedition plan's kind of cool. I would never subscribe to it yearly, even month to month. I have no reason to use it right now, but if I do plan a big trip like that in the future, it will be invaluable, and I will absolutely be using that. So guys, that's really all I wanted to talk about. The texting, the weather, 2 huge things for me, because I need to know what things are going to be like if I'm going to be traveling day to day on a hiking trip or a canoe trip. You know, am I going to be able to go fishing, or are we going to have 25-mile-an-hour winds? That's a really big deal for me, and I'm thrilled to have it in a single device. I'm also really happy to have the SOS feature. I hope I never have to use it. I truly hope I never have to use it, but I'll be glad to know that it's there. And the texting capability, you know, if you get lonely out in the woods or in the forest or desert or on the ocean or whatever, you could always talk to a loved one and let them know how you're doing or ask them what's going on. It's an incredibly useful device with that communication. So I'm happy that I don't have to carry 2 devices now. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the 64S yet, because it's a good GPS. I'm going to hang on to it probably because it's a good backup and whatever. I won't be bringing both with me at one time, but maybe a friend can borrow it or something like that. I'm pretty stoked about the 66i. All the features seem to work, which is great, because there was a lot of problems when this product was initially launched. Weather wasn't even in it. They had all sorts of issues with setting that up with InReach Weather, and it's been sort of a challenge to get there. But as of January 2020, right now, weather's working, texting's working. You know, my device was activated without any issues. So it's a fully functional device, and I'm really excited to start using it, because I know it's going to be useful for me just as a GPS, and I think the texting and weather is going to be really cool, and I'm probably going to end up spending a couple bucks on weather forecasts just because I can. So anyway, that's been it. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. You know, I'm happy to try and answer anything I can. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you like outdoors, you want to see hiking, canoeing, kayaking, fishing videos, and just outdoor content in general, gear reviews, trip reports, and other sorts of like route reviews and route planning and any sort of like outdoor stuff, please do subscribe. I'm going to have a lot of that stuff coming in 2020. I'm excited to start sharing that. I think it's going to be a huge year for me for outdoor excursions. I'm going to be doing the most I've ever done. So please subscribe if you want to see stuff like that. Please like this video if you liked it, and stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching.